Hey everybody, thanks for checking out my broadcast. Today is day 228 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. If this is the first time you're checking out my broadcast, a little bit about me. I am 39 years old. I have been overweight my whole life, and last year I found myself at the highest weight that I had ever been at 520 pounds, and I knew I needed to do something. So I started out with a plan to lose 300 pounds over the course of 3 years. And I started off with a 30-day water fast that I felt was going so well at the time that I extended to a 42-day water fast to 1,000 hours to be exactly. Um, I feel like I heard something. Anyways, um, where was I at? 1,000 hours. And then in that, I will be right back. I got to check something. Okay, it was nothing. So, hey, Anthony's checking in. Hello, happy Friday to you too. Um, just all kinds of distractions here. Uh, so yeah, I started this off with the plan to lose 300 pounds in 3 years, and I am well on my way. So far, I have lost over 180 pounds in the 7, almost 8 months that I've gone so far. I was Carrie saying, hey, Carrie, hope things are going good at home today. Um, the Gosh, I just got so distracted there. Uh, so yeah, big weekend this weekend with Father's Day coming up. I hadn't even thought about it until really just like 2 days ago, I guess. And then um, it's weird too because I've been on this diet now for 7 months, almost eight. That's what I was talking about. And me and Carrie both are, 100% in on the diet, everything about it. I was talking to her about it yesterday or maybe the other day, but just like, it's just weird how much easier it seems, and even if we're not losing weight fast, I feel great about the food that we're eating. It's not just, and because we've been doing it now for 7 months, when Carrie's cooking things like the dinner last night that we've had multiple times, and it just smells so good. And I don't know that I would have had that kind of sensitivity to that in the past, and it's also weird. I wonder how things will smell. Like, we're going to be going camping out in a couple weeks, and we're going to be around people that are going to be cooking all sorts of different foods, and there's going to be people grilling meats, and I'm interested to see if I have any interest in that, or any, like when I was fasting, I would like smell the foods that the kids ate. What is making that noise? Okay, it's got to be something in my AC system, or I have a it's yeah, I have a portable AC unit. It's gonna scare the crap out of me every time it makes a noise, I guess. Um but yeah, we're going to be around people cooking foods that we just haven't been around. All the foods that I've been around for the past 7 months have mostly been the foods that we have at home, and with COVID, there hasn't been as much social stuff. We haven't even really considered going out to eat at restaurants, which is wild. Because, when I did the 30 days, the first 30 days of the fast, I kind of recorded, or I kind of showed how much money that I was spending on fast food while while I was just eating, or I went back to a previous month and kind of showed how much I was eating each day, just to kind of be like, this is how much money I would have spent had I continued eating fast food instead of fasting. And that was a huge number, over $400 spent on fast food in a month. And now, occasionally, we'll have a McDonald's purchase or something for the kids. But that's because that's the only fast food in the town we live in. And it's just convenient on some occasions. And so, but it's, outside of that, we would still like that 450 that I had spent was just what I was spending on myself for fast food. And we were spending a lot of money on the family for like eating out, like having pizza all the time, or getting Mexican, or going to, like the hot dog place, or going to a sit down restaurant. That we just don't do that anymore because it's not, we got out of the habit of doing it because of COVID. And now that we've changed our diet, there's nothing that me and Carrie can eat at those places, so there's no interest for us to go and watch our kids eat at those places. And then this weekend with Father's Day, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to run into, we are getting together with my extended family, and we're going to have kind of a potluck type of dinner. And, where we are at in our diet, I'm so into it that I don't see any, there's nothing that's going to cause me an issue. But for people that are just getting started on their diet, or even if you've been on your diet and you're at your goal, or you're getting close to your goal, that gets tough too, because that's where I always kind of crumbled on the other end. I'm kind of in the middle right now. I'm past the point where I can just be like, oh, well, I just kind of started, so I'll, I can have, it's, or many times I would have been thinking, well, there's no reason to start a diet because Father's Day is this weekend and we're all going to get together, and I don't want to not eat what's available at the dinner. And it's difficult, and we were fortunate that the first event that I was going to run into that was going to be an issue was Thanksgiving. And kind of around here, Thanksgiving got really just shut down. Like, we didn't see my extended family, or my family that I see all the time. We didn't get together for Thanksgiving, just because of the way things were around here. And so that was actually the first, we were going to, I don't know if we were going to travel to St. Louis or not for Thanksgiving. Sometimes we travel down to St. Louis because that's where Carrie's family's from. But anyways, that got kind of postponed, so I didn't have to worry about fasting through the Thanksgiving holiday. And then Christmas rolled around. I was kind of, I'm 90 pounds down, plus another, from the fast, plus 10. We were going to go to St. Louis, it looks like Carrie says. And so, I was pretty into it. Carrie was about 3 weeks into the whole food plant-based diet, and we made the best out of Christmas. We brought our own dish, if I remember, or and I believe we brought Carrie. We haven't had them for a while, but a bean-based brownie that Carrie has made a few times that might be a good Father's Day thing. Um, but yeah, and so that's it's going to be tough for some people out there. They're just getting started with their diet, but the big things to remember is that these holidays are going to keep coming up, and the diet or whatever you choose, and for me, this is very much a way of eating that's going to sustain me the rest of my life. This isn't a diet I'm on to get to a goal. And so there's a difference, I suppose, but I'm eating this way for the rest of my life. And eventually I'm going to get down to the 220 pounds. But when you're so you can't let things like Father's Day kind of cause you to slip up. It's not a big enough thing, like it's for me, like I said, it's something where I wouldn't really, it's so tough for me because it's such a different spot than I know somebody who's 2 weeks or a week into a diet is at. And so it's, so Carrie says she bought the chocolate chips to make some. And then Anthony says cookies, no brownies. The chocolate chips go into the brownies. And Carrie saying, yeah, sticking to it at social events is such a confidence booster. And it really is. And it's so nice to be able to walk away and just be like, I did it. And it's done, and especially early on, if you can succeed by getting through that type of holiday without having something slip you up or somebody cause you to slip up, it really is an amazing feeling that when you get to the other side of it, it may be difficult at the time. Carrie says they're so good. She uses Q brand chocolate chunks for the brownies. So yeah, they're so good. And that's why we don't have them very often. I believe we had them in May, I guess, on my birthday, probably. But I don't think we had them since then. Let's see. So again, with the Father's Day weekend here, it's, going to be difficult, but it can be difficult for people to come up to a holiday like this, and you have to just be strong, and you have to know that you can make it through the holiday, because if you're really going to change your life, if you're really going to change the way you eat, this is the first of many holidays in which you're not going to be indulging in those foods, or you're not going to be eating in that way. For me, like I said, it's ever again. So it's not an occasion that would cause me to try something new. Like there's no, yeah. And it's a weird thought to have too about it, is that like when I was eating meat and eating fast food and eating junk and cake and candy and all of that stuff, I wouldn't, like, for somebody to eat the way I'm eating now was so foreign, and I thought it was so weird that, like, I don't think that it really even occurred to me that people that eat this way don't ever indulge in that. Like, if you're a vegan for ethical reasons, you don't ever say, well, I'm just gonna have fish because that's all that's around. Like, you just don't ever eat fish, and like I said, I don't know that it really sank into me that, it wasn't just a temporary way of eating, oh, you're eating plant-based while you're trying to lose weight, you know, or you're eating vegan. Um, but if it came down to it, you would eat animal product maybe, you know, and I just, like I said, it's just not really something I took the time to think about. But now that I'm sitting here and I'm like, there's absolutely no reason why I would ever consider eating a meat product right now. I mean, it's like it in yeah, it's just a weird and yeah. And so it's kind of funny going into a weekend like this where there's going to be a lot of options, there's going to be a lot of things. And the other weird is eating kind of the way we do without the salt, oil, or sugar. That is still a way of eating that I haven't wrapped my head around that I'm going to do forever. You know, like that is the tougher thing for me to kind of be like, well, I'm never going to have uh yeah, anything with salt in it. Like it's just not going to be you know, something I do. And it's, you know, and I'm reading this book right now, and it's going to kind of the salt. What I worry about with my training right now for the triathlon is that I am not giving myself enough electrolytes to sustain doing heavy workouts, and especially for the triathlon itself, that's going to be a long event. And so you know, it's actually interesting that the book did already mention one kind of low or no salt electrolyte kind of, it was like dates and coconut water mixed together, is a drink that athletes make that doesn't have any salt in it. And so it's, you know, I'm going to try to find ways to have salt like that without having you know, to take like an electrolyte gel or something like that. Carrie says that she cheats a little on the salt rule from time to time, but she's able to do it in moderation, and sugar would take her down. Yeah, the sugar would be something that, you know, and we can just tell from the sugar we get from like the dates we eat that if I were to really, you know, want to, I could, you know, eat a few, like, and it was weird to me is when I first started eating after my fast, Carrie had a date and said about how amazing it was. And I tried to eat it and I couldn't handle how sweet it was. It was too sweet. And now that I've had more sweet things and dates in my diet, I could eat, you know, a snack Carrie made a couple weeks ago, a few times, was a date with peanut butter on it, with some cashews on that. And then she put them in the freezer, and they were really great. They were good. But yeah, so the salt is the thing that I still am having the hardest time with not having as part of my diet. But it's also, I don't have any, again, inclination or any desire to eat anything with salt right now, because, you know, like the Pleasure Trap book kind of talks about it, you know, and if you run into this situation, if you're at an event this weekend and you're trying to stay on your diet and you're having a hard time and somebody's trying to push you to eat something, or, you know, live a little, or I made this just for you, you know, you just kind of have to be like, you know, things are going really well for me right now. And I don't want to screw anything up about how things are going for me right now. And like and that's how I guess I feel about with the salt right now, is I don't want, things are going great for me right now, and I don't want to do anything to screw that up. And so that is really how I feel going into this weekend. And it's going to be, I'm going to have a great time. It's just tough. I know for people that are just getting into a diet, and then you run into all these holidays, like it was just Mother's Day not that long ago, and then Father's Day. There's another holiday, coming up. I'm sure the 4th of July is right around the corner, and so, and just the way things are now that, things are getting up and running and we're going out and celebrating these things, it seems like every few weekends or at least once a month, there's something that you have to contend with, because all social events kind of revolve around food now. And so, and then Carrie says, gotta practice for that camp out. Yeah. The camp out's going to be the more difficult thing, because we might be in a position where there's not other food around. I don't really have much of a worry for myself, because I feel like if I had to go the whole weekend without eating, I could survive. I mean, we're going to be active, so I'm not going to want to do that. But it would be nice to well, yeah, I'll get through that weekend. It's just going to be interesting to see how it is with all the different foods around. And again, the thing that would tempt me the most is going to be the potato chips or the tortilla chips, the salty kind of potato snacks. Anthony says, have I started to work on my swimming? So I have a little bit. I have not gotten a great swim in. I don't know if you heard, yes, but I kind of, yeah. So 2 nights ago, I worked on the system some more, and I got it to a point where it will push against me hard enough that, like, if I'm just kicking and I'm not using my arms to kind of propel myself forward, it's kind of pushing me back. I'm going to have to work on kind of like a rope to hold me back. But anyways, while trying to get some practice in the water, I swam for I think maybe I said 7 minutes or so, and could have been longer, but just getting practice swimming, also with breathing. And so kind of what I'm able to do is, instead of using my arms to propel myself forward, I kind of just use them to propel myself upward while kind of kicking my legs, and the water pushing from the jets into my face kind of has helped me with working on kind of breathing while swimming. Because that's going to be, as I just from the little bit of practice I've been able to do, that's going to be what I'm going, that is going to help me succeed, is if I can get that down well. Like, I don't have I know how to swim and breathe, but I haven't done it for a long time. And so that is kind of why I want to get that, up and going this weekend, hopefully kind of get it finalized and get it so that I can do some solid swim training. I also talked about that I want to get to I think I'm going to pay for like a day pass for the YMCA to go and swim the distance, just to see how long it does take me to swim that distance, so I can get that going. So, but no, I have not had a great chance to go swimming yet. I wish I did. And then Carrie goes, yeah. So, lots of family with a lot of questions about our way of eating. Yeah. I think that, I don't know the last time we kind of saw a lot of the family, it was not the best. It was a death in the family, and so there wasn't a whole lot of socializing, and didn't really probably see everybody. Just kind of saw they and so, gosh, I don't even remember. I know it was after Christmas. I believe it was this year. So it was after I fasted and I had lost a decent amount of weight. But I'm, and it's so weird with COVID to, the last time I may have been around them might have been Christmas or Thanksgiving of 2019. And so I would have been at my heaviest or around my heaviest around that time. I would have been close to 500 the last time I saw them. And then the now that I'm down under 340 pounds. So yeah, I'll probably be 150 pounds lighter than a lot of people saw me. Carrie, I think, is probably 60 pounds lighter than the last kind of family thing as well. So there's going to be a decent amount of questions about, and that's interesting with the book I'm reading now as well, that they are talking about the number one question kind of people that eat plant-based get asked is where you're going to get your protein from. Anthony says they might have time scheduled for an adult swim. I believe they do. My brother, actually, when we signed up for the triathlon, he reapplied his membership at the Y. So I might even be able to go under a guest pass with him. But yeah, with the protein is like the number one question I'm sure we're going to get asked. And that's kind of the first thing that they addressed in like chapter 3 of the book is, the protein, the protein question, or how do you get your protein? And really kind of just in the way we eat breakfast, like he mentions that if you have oatmeal with nut butter in it, and we don't use soy milk, we use apple juice, but if we use soy milk, but we almost get a third of our protein just in breakfast. And that is kind of, we get that daily, that's right away in the morning. And that's just a small amount of the food that, I eat throughout the whole day. And so, and they talk about and things I didn't realize or didn't know. I don't know, but they talk about like our body is designed that the primary source of food that our fuel that our body is going to choose to burn is carbohydrates. And then after we burn through carbohydrates, then we burn through fat. And then after the fat, then we go to, I believe it's the fat that we eat, not our stored fat. And then after that, then we start to use protein. And so the it's like the third choice of fuel, and but it's such a big part of, like people want to know where you get your protein or how you're getting protein. And so Anthony says, have you tried oat milk? Yes, we have oat milk. I believe that a few of our recipes use oat milk that Carrie makes. Carrie made an oat milk coffee yesterday. She had ordered some ingredients from Your World, I believe, and I'm sure she will have what that is or what it was. But yeah, we have oat milk, and we have a diet compliant oat milk for us, that doesn't have any added sugar or salt. But yeah, and so with the questions that we'll get, that's really the big one I'm sure we'll get is where do we get our protein? And it's something where I probably would have been that same type of person. But like they say in the book, their favorite response is, I get it from the same place the cows you eat get it, and that's the plants. And that is kind of, the cows don't produce protein within themselves. The protein that's makes up their bodies they got from eating plants. And so it's interesting. And and then the book also, kind of what they're talking about now in the book, is supplements, and I kind of touched on that a little bit with the training, and or I'm going to try to find ways to do training and do long cardio activities, and then not have to have sugar or electrolyte supplements. I have some stuff like this my light or highlight electrolytes that I might have to maybe check into doing that too, but I would really like to try to find some natural sources of it, and the book actually talks about a few different natural sources of those things. The book I'm talking about is called the plant-based the plant-based athlete. It's written by Robert Cheek and by another gentleman of the name of Matt Frazier. So Robert Cheek was a bodybuilder. Matt Frazier, I'm not sure what he was, but they were both athletes. And the book is it just came out on the 15th of the month here. Like I said, it's called The Plant-Based Athlete. And they do a lot of talking about different athletes that in history who have been plant-based, like Carl Lewis. And, that's just the most popular one I can think of off the top of my head all the time. But there's lots of other ones that were either plant-based or at the time, or have done plant-based and have seen benefits from plant-based. Carrie says oat milk seems creamier than soy milk, and Carrie says that the drink she made says it was great. It was Your World recipe, but she purchased it from Amazon and Trader Joe's. Okay, yeah. It was Tequino. I don't know what that Ticino maybe, and date sugar, which is just dehydrated dates crushed to a powder, and then oat milk from Trader Joe's. And then yeah, Anthony likes oat milk. So the book is talking about supplements, and I'm trying to find a way to not have to kind of go outside of the plant-based world for my supplements. But it's really interesting that they talk about some of these athletes that do like these ultra marathons and these really long endurance runs where they just eat food like while they're running. Like they've gotten so used to it, or they've gotten their body so adapted to it, that they said that on many occasions at a ultra marathon where they run like 70 miles or 100 miles in one day, that those people will that they'll just eat a potato like while they're running, because their bodies are so used to it. And so yeah, no, I like the book so far. I think I have I think I'm like 3 hours in. I might have 5 hours left of it. But it's kind of nice how they break things down. It is something where they do reference that their supplemental material quite a bit. There's a lot of occasions where the author is just reading lists of foods that are like, these following foods are high in this, and then they just say, kale, spinach, and then they just list off 50 different vegetables or 50 different things. So it's a little bit slow when they do that, but overall I like the book so far, and it's giving me kind of some different ideas, like I said, with the dates and the coconut water. That's kind of they said it was an electrolyte and something cocktail. Like the dates were good for one thing and the coconut water was good for another. So I am going a little long, but I was going to show. So yesterday I did get a chance to do kind of a workout. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to show on here, but I have been a little bit nervous about doing anything with working out because of my new shoes. I got these barefoot shoes and I'm trying not to uh hurt my feet by doing too much while wearing them. But yesterday I was kind of like, I had to do something because it had been too long since I had really done anything. So yesterday evening I decided to go out and go for a walk in the afternoon. And so just kind of it was not fast paced by any means. And I was probably already, a couple tenths of a mile into the walk before I started to. But really all I did was walk through this neighborhood that's near where I live, and then up and down the road a few times. It was getting late at night. It was in the afternoon when I did the workout. I don't even know if I call it a workout, but what I wanted, I set out and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do a 5K in these shoes. I'm not going to push myself hard at all. I'm just going to walk the distance in the shoes and then, call it a workout. And so I was about 22 minutes slower than when I did like a kind of run walk 5K. Also, though, a big difference is that there was a lot more elevation changes in this walk than there was in the previous walk. In fact, the previous walk, there's an area on the, I don't know, it's too bad that I can't like get a cursor on the screen, but on the bottom left where you see that loop, that's kind of where I did, in fact, yeah, one of those really small loops is the loop I did over and over and over and over again in order to get to that first 5K I did. But the elevation differences on this one were massive. So you can see there at about 30 minutes in, I kicked up the high gear there. I guess you can't really see that. I don't think I can zoom it in. There you go. Kicked it into gear at about 33 minutes, doubled my speed. I think I went from an average of 2.3 to an amazing 4.5 miles an hour for about not very long at all. And then this kind of shows the elevation difference. So I kind of walked downhill a lot at the beginning, and then there was a large uphill walk and kind of up that on top of that hill and then back towards the house. So it was great weather out there. I wasn't really in a high heart rate zone at all. Most of the time it was pretty low heart rate. By the end of it, I got a little bit hotter, I guess. It says it cooled down, but I was definitely sweating and did a workout by the end. I believe the calories burned were less than 600 according to the tracker, but it was nice to get out there, just kind of some more stats on it. It was just a nice leisurely walk. Nothing, I wasn't pushing myself. I just wanted to do it so that I had the time in on my feet. I also, because I was walking on roads and things like that, I was it was more taxing on my feet, or it kind of, because there was lots of times where I would step far off the road because a vehicle was coming, or there might have been a couple vehicles coming. So I would kind of step off to the side of the road, and there would be rocks. I definitely was very mindful of where I was stepping, which made it more difficult because by the end of my walk, it was far too dark for me to be outside. I should not have been out there walking as late as I was, but the road was I think I only came across one, maybe two cars on that section of road that I was walking. But so I was taking my time with walking. But today, I mean, my feet have pain in them. I don't walk much throughout the day, and so today I don't even. I have like over 2,000 steps today, and that's. I actually went into a store, maybe walked a few extra feet than I normally do. So, that was actually interesting. Let me see if I can show yesterday's step chart from yesterday. Here you go. That's yesterday's step chart. Oh, I don't have it up anymore. But you can see how I had like no steps throughout the day, and then I got the bottom of the screen cut off, so you can't see it, but there you go. But yeah, so essentially I had no steps throughout the day, and then at 8 p.m. I went through the roof, and so that was what my activity was yesterday, and I ended up doing 11,000 steps total yesterday, which is really not a lot of steps in the end. So, but it was nice to get it done. Anthony says, congrats. Thanks, Anthony. It was nice to be able to do it and to say that I got another 5K in, and it's so far. It really is. Like, I was like, oh, I'll probably walk around that neighborhood, and that'll probably be like a half mile, and then I can walk in, and it just was like, I just kept looking at my watch, and I was just like, man, that's only a quarter of a mile from there to there. And then because I just don't run, like I don't have and even like when I'm thinking about going on a bike ride, like I'm like, well, maybe I could go on a bike ride later and just ride the roads. And I'm thinking about like, oh, I could go from my house up to like the corner store. That's probably a decent distance. And it probably is not a decent, like it's as far as the distance that I need to go is it's a 4 mile distance what I'm thinking, and so if I round trip that would be 8 miles. I'm gonna have to do that twice, and so but when I think about it, it feels like it's so far away in my head, but that's gonna kind of change, or that like I'm learning these distances and I'm understanding how because I've just never been the type of person that has done any type of running or any road kind of things. And so to get on the road and see how far it is, like that distance is only 1 mile further than what a 5K is, like I would have thought that to get from my house to this corner store, that you guys have no idea what I'm referencing, obviously, but I would have thought it was much further than a 5K, and it's really not that much further than a 5K. So, anyways, I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm looking forward to having another successful gathering of the family. We'll bring our own kind of food and share it with them. And if anybody wants to enjoy it, they will. If they don't, that's fine by me, because that just means I'll have extras for myself, or we'll have more for us to have at home. Yeah, I'm going to be back on Monday. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be back Monday. I will not be on every day next week. It might just be Monday, a few days. Carrie says she's got to think of something without, and then why is it cut off? It just says something without, oops, something to take. Okay. Yeah, I got to think of something to take. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll figure it out. Or we'll just eat a bunch of food at home before we go over there, and it won't matter. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be a good weekend. getting to hang out with the kids and celebrating Father's Day. And I'll be back next week. So thank you guys for checking out the broadcast today. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I hope you have a good Father's Day. If you're just starting on a diet, stay strong, and you can get through it. I didn't even get into the other end of it, which I was going to talk about, which is how tough it is sometimes when you're at your goal or close to your goal to stay committed. But stay committed. You wouldn't have gotten this far if you hadn't have been committed. So don't fall off the wagon. And I will be back on Monday. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell icon so you get notified when I go live, which is most days at 4 p.m. Central Time. All right. You guys all have a great weekend. I will talk to you later.